Doom, 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 doom. What's going on, everybody? What is up, y'all? Hey, hi. It's Monday night. Microphone was all the way over there. I was wondering why it was so quiet. Yeah, how's it going, everybody? So, I am gonna be hanging out tonight, working on a little something. And I'm wearing that funny, yeah, I am wearing this. I still wish that this, I understand why they didn't do it. I still wish that the G was up here, so it said Dung Eon Master. Because it'd just be really funny to have a shirt that says Dung. But yeah, so welcome everyone to this lovely Monday night. If you did not see it in the Discord, I posted it just a minute ago. I want to add a bunch, if not all, of the monsters from this book, Essential NPCs. Now, recently we talked about this. I kind of went over it, gave my opinion, which, if you watched that, you know, it's one of my more recent ones. It's probably still on VOD. I gotta spend tomorrow transferring stuff over to YouTube. But the thing is that I fell in love with this book. Just very much fell in love with this book. I like the diversity of the characters. I like the I wouldn't even say, like, there's diversity in the characters, but then there's also like diversity in the abilities. And just last night, and actually last week as well, I got to utilize some of these. So in my IRL game, my library or GS group, what's up, Glenn? I used the thieves. I think I used a thief and a thug. I know I definitely used a thug last week, but last night as well, in the New Age campaign, I was using a slightly modified version of the Berserker stat block, as well as the Thug stat block. So I want to get more of these added because it was kind of a bit of a pain last night not having an actual stat block that I could reference directly. I kind of had to like pull from you know, an image of it from the PDF and then just roll manually on there, which, you know, you're going to have plenty of people out there saying, well, you know, what do you mean you have to roll manually, oh boo-hoo. But thing is when you run digital D&D, there is a bit of a almost expectation in a way that your players are going to be able to see what it is that you're rolling, especially if you are like me and you roll in front of, you know, in front of the screen, as you know, per se. You know, I like whenever my players are able to see my rolls. Now there are obviously some rolls that I do hide, but yeah, it was just kind of a little frustrating, and I want to go through and I want to see what all their abilities are over time. And so yeah, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start adding some of these. We're gonna start with the Alchemist. I already actually added some of them. As you can see, I have the Brute, the Thug, and the Assassin. Oh yeah, those were the three that I used. I used not the Berserker last week. I used the Brute and the Assassin and the Thug. And it was very nice just having those stat blocks. And the nice thing is that I actually went through and added, yeah, I added the art for them as well. Now, the nice thing is I can do this. It's going to be a bit of a long process because obviously there's like 24 archetypes. There's 13 for each. I think it was like 360 some things that I have to add. But the nice thing is that when you add a monster to D&D Beyond, you can actually go back into here, and if I type in Brute under Homebrew, there he is. So the nice thing with that is that I can actually just click that, create from it to get essentially a copy of it, and then just edit the values. So I can basically make the Alchemist at its lowest level. And then I can make another one using that quarter CR as the template, and then just add on whatever it is. And the nice thing is this PDF is very, very copy friendly to put it in a way. I can go in, I can copy this stuff. I don't have to retype it. I don't know if the formatting for this is going to be perfect. Sometimes when you copy stuff like this, it well, actually, I guess we can just see. Sometimes whenever you have a stat block like that, it has a forced enter at the end. I forget what the technical term of that is. But if we go under actions and we do that, yeah, okay, so good. It is formatted correctly. Because sometimes what would happen is I'll just show you for example. It would have something like this where it would have those breaks exactly like they are. So I'm glad that it's formatting correctly. Now, there's gonna be little things that I have to adjust as I go along, but it shouldn't be too bad. Like I said, I can kind of do this almost in batches. Just like, as weird as it to say batches, I'm just gonna be doing one. I'm gonna do the CR 1/4, which is gonna be the base, and then I'm just gonna essentially just iterate from that on and on and on and on. Now, one of the first things that I have to do is I have to get rid of kind of everything else in here. I am going to put, I'm going to see how well it formats this. Yeah, okay. So it doesn't give me the table. I can't get the table. Oh, the table just didn't copy. Okay, so can I get the table? No. Not really. I wonder though. I mean, it's not like it's the end of the world if I can't. I'm just kind of curious. I forget how to even do this. I guess I could do that now. That's actually, that's not going to be the worst. So here, let's make this header 4. We're gonna do everything. So we're gonna do say header 3 here. Alchemist, and we're gonna say bold and underlined, and Alchemist examples, and then what we'll do is we can do these as bullet points. That'll work. That's decent. We're gonna do this at shit. Stop doing that. I don't like that it's doing that. Okay. So header 4 underlined, and then we'll. Now the thing is, and I do want to express this. I have no intention of publishing these on D&D Beyond. So that will mean that these will not be available to the public. I obviously don't want to step on toes. But they will be available to those in my games. Let's change that to header 2. There we go. I'm very curious to see how this will actually format, because I don't know how well that's going to format. And actually, we're going to change this to header 3. We're going to make it bold. All right. Also, I don't know if it's still the thing anymore. I'm going in and, selecting... No, I don't have to publish them for people in my games to see them. If it is a campaign that I am sharing content to, then you will be able to see these. But if you are not in one of my campaigns, you could not go to the homebrew listings on Beyond and search those up. So for example, let's change this. Yeah, so okay. So if you go on D&D Beyond and you search up College of Dirges or Trilby of Resplendency or Bless/Bane, then you will find the one that I added, and you will be able to add it to your own catalog. But like this Ring of Arcane Awakening, the Path of the Bloodied, anything here that says private not submitted, you would not be able to go in and access. So these will be limited to myself and the people in my campaigns. Oh shit, I gotta pull up a different doc here. Here we go. I also did think about, I was talking to Glenn just the other day at work about something, little experiment that I have partaken into, I guess natural. So funny enough, over in the GM philosopher, someone forgot, is that if somebody asked me, I would have told them they had to publish. Yeah, hopefully. Don't want to be spreading wrong information. So over in the GM philosopher Discord, which I'm, I hang out over there and chat, and a lot of conversation goes on, and I appreciate Josh, the GM philosopher himself, and his, like, I don't want to say tenacity, but like the fact that he publishes a video every single day, and that on top of that, he also puts out, he does a half an hour live stream every day at 2:00 Eastern time. And, I give him all the credit in the world, because man, oh man, is that guy just crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. He seems to go 100 miles an hour. He does. He has a lot going on, and I give him all the credit in the world. He's fantastic at what he does, and he has, monster type humanoid. These are all going to be, I forgot to give it everything. Jesus. But, he, I need to put this. So he does a video. He does a live stream every day for a half hour at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time called the Coffee Break Live, where he kind of does, you know, similar to how we do here on D&D&Chill, where we just hang out, we chat, and just, you know, kind of just, you know, vibe. And recently he has gotten into asking his community about, you know, different topics that they want to talk about. So every day he posts, you know, early in the afternoon saying, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? You know, what's on your mind? And, you know, different folks will throw up some suggestions. And can I just put here any 2 languages? No. I guess I'm going to put all. Oh, you know what? I'll just put common, and I'll just put any 2. Because that's, I don't know how else to put that. I guess I just put all. Guess that would work. Just put all and then just put 2 languages, so it's all 2 languages. Yeah, so he has, like I said, he has a pretty lively chat over there, and there was a lot of folks, you know, chomping at the bit today. And when he posted earlier about what did we, you know, what did the folks want to talk about, in the chat, somebody had mentioned about fudging dice, and that was like starting to be, you know, the conversation about dice fudging, you know, as a DM. Should you fudge your dice? Should you, you know, should you essentially lie to your players in a way? And the question, you know, there was a couple people in there that were kind of on it, and, you know, they were chatting a little bit about it, and I just sort of like threw my hat into the ring. Because I kind of had a thought from last night, and from my whatchamacallit, my New Age campaign, I had this thought because I use AI tools in order to supplement some things when I'm running a game. Now, I recently talked about leveraging a DM screen. Oh, not my characters. What the hell? Leveraging a DM screen from an extension called D&D Beyond DM Screen in order to make running your games a little bit easier. It's right up here in the corner. When you click it, it opens up to a nice little panel. Yep, you know what? And I've been having this happen. I reached out to the guy. For some reason, it keeps resetting on me. Like all the stuff that I literally yesterday it was there. Today it's completely gone. It's not like I jumped to any other thing. I'm not using a different, you know, thing, and I've had to do this a couple times. It is getting a little frustrating. I will admit, there is a part of me, I know I was talking about this on the stream, you know, about having like each individual stat block, you know, it's like, you know, strength, con, dex, blah, 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 blah. I am probably gonna forego doing that if I have to do that every time and switch these to being like that, because then in this it's, you know, strength, con, dex, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, and I can quickly glance that stuff, and it's not that often that I really need that. It is just kind of frustrating that goes away. And like I said, I reached out to the guy who puts this together. I'm waiting to hear back from him, and, you know, figure within a day or two, give him some time. But you know, I talked about one of the websites that I go to is the Thieves Guild. And just last night, I needed to use this. You know, my players got into a fight with another adventuring party that had been taken over and enchanted by the hand of Bane, and they wanted to loot their bodies. So I simply, where'd I go? Equipment, or was it, no, Harvest and Loot. Or wait, was it Harvest and Loot? No, it was something else. I forget exactly what I did. What's up, Doctor? Oh, hey, what's up, Dr. Pibbs? How's it going? I can't remember exactly what I clicked to get the one that was like the loot that the party got, but one of the things that I did was I did want to give the players, you know, a few trinkets. And so I had intended on, there was this little, you know, market cart that was on the side of the road. It was getting attacked. And when I was starting to think about that, like in the moment, I had this thought of, okay, you know, what kind of NPC do I want for this? And, you know, I could have just as easily gone up here, clicked NPC generator, and I knew I wanted a halfling. I wanted a male halfling. And, you know, in here, you can go in, you can select a bunch of stuff. I could have hit merchant, and there we go. We got, you know, Denise Newthorn. I got some information, 45, you know, worships Shantae, loudly worships Shantae, very focused, very greedy, and obsessed with a nearby tavern. But again, I like to leverage AI. I like to leverage, you know, Chat GPT for stuff. So what I did was whenever I was introducing this, I typed in, I said, I just very quickly, right before the players really started interacting with him, I said, generate me a short stat block for a halfling merchant. And so what popped up, wait, which, why did I do that? Okay, that was weird. Here, we'll do it this way. So what popped up was a pretty standard stat block, you know, gave me an armor class, some ability scores, some basic abilities and things like that. But then I said, you know, I said, give me after that, I was like, that's not what I wanted. So I'm like, give me a name for him, and you know, give me a short little description and a very short little backstory. And I kind of had in mind what I wanted. And it spat out the name Tobrin Quick Pockets Reed Whistle. Said that he was from the town of Talar and was, you know, had made a name for himself as a silver-tongued merchant with an uncanny knack for striking deals, and gave me a little bit of information. And I was happy with that, you know, and I didn't need to really use most of it. I kind of already knew that he was going to be coming from somewhere around Brindle, passing, you know, through the area. So I had that in mind. Mainly, I just needed a name. I needed a description. And again, I could have used this, but there's such a convenience of being able to be so specific in certain instances on, you know, an AI generator. And like I said, you know, this was a conversation that I brought up over in the GM Philosopher channel, and I said, I have a topic that may drum up some conflict. Should we leverage the speed and efficiency of AI, such as ChatGPT, as a means to enhance our process as DMs? For example, if you wanted to make a town, mining town node as whetstone, you could sit there, you could write down all the details you wanted. You could write down a name, a key feature, like 2 to 3 locations, 2 to 3 key NPCs, and you're good. Like that's really what you need. Maybe like, a description of the town layout, a mining town set into a mountain, and there's these big iron doors to the mines, and it's known as Iron Gate. You could very easily sit and write that stuff out, and it is creative writing, and there is a fulfillment to it. But one of the kickers that I have dealt with over the years is I write a lot of stuff, and then my players never go to it. I've written full adventures and have seeded the plot lines to them, and my players don't bite, or they suddenly realize they don't want to go that route. And it's one of those things. So like I said, I like to leverage the simplicity of ChatGPT to help me with those kind of arduous tasks, or like there's things where instead of having to track down and remember exactly how I get to the right generator on here, and it's a terrible example because I'm literally staring at NPC generator. Actually, what the fuck is this? Look at that. We are slacking players. It's really nice just to be able to say like, hey, what is up, Hannah? I didn't recognize the name. And so last night, another thing I did was, and here's where the loot was. I put, my players killed 2 berserkers and a thug. What do you have ideas for loot for them? It gave me a handful of things, and definitely stuff I didn't care for, didn't want to add. And, I kind of just used it as like a quick thought and reference. My Wakfu, oh, nice. I know Wakfu. But one of the things that, like I said, I know, kind of beating around a bush on this. I was talking to Glenn the other day about this. So, and I don't know if tonight's the night I'm going to do it, because like I said, I do want to get some work done on getting these stat blocks added to D&D Beyond. But I recently started my own D&D campaign in a way where I'm playing as my me character, Brutus Bjorn, human barbarian bandit leader. And the way that I am doing this is that, again, I am leveraging ChatGPT. So I put into ChatGPT because I wanted to experiment with this. I wanted to see what would come up. And I told it this was the prompt. And I did not generate this prompt. There was a gentleman on YouTube. I'd have to hunt down his video to find it. But say, I want you to be the dungeon master for a D&D campaign. Here's the guidelines. You're the dungeon master. Guide the user through captivating, challenging, dark, eventful adventure. The user will be the player. They'll control their own actions. Ask the basic details for their character. There's, examples about dice rolling, skill checks, handle combat with the 5e rules, track turn order, AC, HP, weapons, and any other combat related stuff. Blah, 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 blah. So I plugged this in, and it's like, all right, let's begin. Tell me about your character. And it says, choose a setting. So it gave me a couple setting options. We have the Blighted Kingdom, land cursed by an ancient betrayal, Where twisted creatures prowl and forgotten gods whisper in the dark. We have the Sunken Frontier, a wild, lawless region of flooded ruins, ghost ships, and eldritch horrors lurking beneath the waves, and the Iron Crypts of Korath, a massive underground prison where the worst criminals, both mortal and monstrous, are sealed away. You wake up inside with no memory of how you got there or player's choice. So I plugged this in, and I started typing in, my character, explaining, okay, I'm a level 1 barbarian. I'm a Mark of the Sentinel human. I have these certain features. Here's what I have. And then I thought about it. Okay, it's like, which one of these would be fun to experience? And being that he was the leader of a group of bandits, I was like, okay, the Iron Crypts of Korath, it's a prison and you wake up inside with no memory of how you got there. I'm like, that sounds like a really fun thing to have, a criminal being in jail. So that's what I told it. Like I said, I gave him, my name, my level, some of the information, what I had. I said, let's go with the Iron Crypts. And this is what I get, okay? Your head throbs. The taste of blood and iron thicken your mouth. The air is damp, heavy with the stench of mildew and something rotten. A faint blue glow flickers from the torches lining the stone walls. You're lying on the cold ground, wrists free but an iron collar clamped around your neck. The Iron Crypts of Korath, a prison for the worst of the worst, murderers, warlords, and horrors that should not be. You don't remember how you got here, but the weight of the collar suggests one thing. You weren't meant to leave. Chains rattle in the distant. Something moves in the dark. And that gives you the option for a perception check. Do you want to gauge your surroundings? So I said, sure. So I rolled a perception check. I got a 6. The darkness presses in around you, the eerie blue torchlight doing little to reveal your surroundings. You hear distant movement. The echoing halls of the crypt make it impossible to tell if it's close or far. A sudden metallic clang rings out, followed by the dragging of chains. The noise is coming from the left, or was it the right? It's hard to tell. A low growl rumbles through the air, something not quite human. You have choices. Move cautiously towards the sound, trying to get the jump on whatever lurks nearby. Stay still and listen longer, hoping to learn more, or search your immediate surroundings. So I said, I want to feel around for anything I can use to defend myself. In Brutus's mind, he doesn't know why he's here, what's going on, but all he knows is there's a threat, a possible threat, and he wants to defend himself. You reach out, fingers running over the cold, damp stone beneath you. Your belongings are missing, your weapon, your pack, everything. You're unarmed. As you grope around, your hand brushes against something rough and splintered. A broken wooden club, likely part of a shattered chair or support beam. Not much, but better than nothing. Before you can react, the growl deepens, followed by the sound of clawed feet scraping against the stone. Something is coming. Optional stealth check. I rolled a 14. I said I want to grab the broken wooden club as quietly as possible. You silently wrap your fingers around the broken wooden club, lifting it without making a sound. The weight is uneven, the wood splintered, but it'll do in a fight. The growling stops. A moment of silence stretches out before you hear slow, deliberate sniffing. Whatever is out there is searching for something, or someone. Then, clawed footsteps move past you, barely 10 feet away. The blue torchlight flickers, casting a distorted shadow on the wall. A hunched figure with elongated limbs and jagged fingers. Its head tilts as it sniffs the air. The iron collar around your neck suddenly feels heavier. It hasn't seen you yet. What do? Well, I want to stay quiet. And I want to see if I can figure out what this is before making any movement or action against it. You remain motionless, steadying your breath as the creature sniffs the air. The blue torchlight flickers, giving you a brief, clear look at its form. Its skin is pale and stretched, as if it had been starved for centuries. Its fingers are long and sharpened into claws, twitching slightly as it moves. The creature's eyes are sunk, but they glow with a faint, sickly yellow light. The iron collar, much like yours, is latched tightly around its throat, its surface etched with runes that pulse dimly. You recognize the signs. This is no ordinary prisoner. This is a ghoul, but not just any ghoul. Its limbs are too long, its movements too calculated. This is something older, stronger. The creature pauses, sniffing once more. Its head slowly turns towards you. Insight check. I rolled a nat 1. Your mind races, but panic clouds your thought. The creature's movements blur together in the dim light, its sniffing distorted in the echoes of the crypt. For a moment, you swear it's looking straight at you. Then it lunges. With inhuman speed, the ghoul's claws swipe at you, hunger twisting its expression. You have no time to think, only react. Combat begins. I swung with the club. I rolled to hit and I got a 22. My broken club smashes into the ghoul's head, splintering slightly on impact. The creature hisses, reeling from the blunt force. My club cracks against its skull, making it stagger back, a sickly black ichor dripping from the wound. It snarls, baring rotten teeth, its yellow eyes burning with hunger and rage. It attacks and hits. The creature's claws rip across my chest, leaving a burning, stinging wound. Took 7 damage, which is half of my hit points, and I had a constitution save to avoid paralysis. Luckily, I was able to succeed because with my proficiency in Constitution, that gave me enough. Actually, the DC was only 10. The ghoul's cursed touch tries to lock your muscles in place, but you shake off the numbing sensation, gritting your teeth through the pain. You're still in the fight. So combat continues. So on my second turn, I try to disarm it by ripping the collar off. I'm able to grab it off of there. With a burst of raw strength, you tear the iron collar from its neck, the runes flickering and dying as you toss it to the ground. The ghoul screeches in agony, staggering back as its body spasms violently. Its yellow eyes dim, its movements become erratic and sluggish, as if something that once controlled it has weakened. The creature drops to its knees, clutching its own throat, struggling to breathe. It's now weak. It loses its paralysis ability, its AC drops by 2, and has disadvantage on its next attack. It goes to attack. It misses. Its weakened body sways, its attack sluggish and clumsy. So getting this lovely suggestion. Yo, what's up, Juno girl? It is good to see you. We're talking about AI again and how I'm using it to play my own solo D&D game. I love this suggestion. I was like, well, shit, yeah, I want to use the iron collar that I just ripped off this thing to try and strangle it. So I go to roll strength check. You wrench the iron collar tight around the ghoul's throat, cutting off its breath. It thrashes wildly, clawing at your arms, but its weakened state makes it too slow. With a final gurgling screech, its body convulses, then falls limp. The sickly yellow glow fades from its sunken eyes, and it slumps to the ground lifeless. You've killed the ghoul. The crypt is silenced once more, except for your heavy breathing. The iron collar feels strange in your hands, its runes faintly pulsating, though it's unclear what power it holds. So I inspect this. I want to see if there's anything I can learn. I roll an Arcana check and unfortunately fail. You study the runes, tracing them with your fingers, but their meaning escapes you. The faint pulses of light seem rhythmic, but without a deeper understanding of magic, their purpose remains unclear. What you do realize, however, is that this collar was likely enforced by something external, perhaps a warden, a spellcaster, or an enchantment tied to the prison. Breaking it might not be as simple as tearing it off. Your own collar remains firm, cold against your skin. You need more knowledge or stronger magic to remove it. So I wanted to look around, find a way out of here or somebody else. You step carefully through the damp stone crypt, your breath steadying after the fight. The eerie blue torchlight flickers, casting low shadows on along the wall. Ooh, let's check something there. There we go. As you move, you spot 2 possible paths forward. A rusted iron gate down the left passage Down the left passage, a heavy iron barred gate stands slightly ajar, leading to a narrow stone corridor. The hinges are rusted, and beyond it you hear the distant drip of water. To the right, a flight of worn stone steps spirals downward into utter darkness. The air is colder there. A faint whispering can be heard, though it's unclear whether it's voices or just the wind. So I roll a perception check and get a 20. You slow your breathing and focus on the smallest details. Beyond the rusted gate, you hear water dripping into shallow pools. There's a faint shuffle of movement. Someone or something is in there, but they're moving slowly, cautiously. It doesn't sound immediately hostile, but you're not alone. To the right, the whispers become clearer. They're not the wind, they are voices, speaking in low, strained tones. One sounds human, desperate. The other is wrong, hollow. The cold air seeping from below smells faintly of rot and old blood. So I said I want to go down the stairs. I might find an ally down there who needs help. You move towards the spiraling stone steps, gripping the iron collar in one hand and the splintered club in the other. The whispers grow louder with each step, the cold deepening as you descend. The air smells of blood, mold, and something ancient. The blue torchlight above fades, leaving only the faintest gloom-lit glow from the walls themselves, as if the stone is sweating out of the last traces of dying magic. At the bottom of the stairs, you see a cell, its door broken open. Inside, a man is slumped against the wall, gasping for breath, clutching a bleeding wound on his side. His ragged prison rags barely cover his frame. Standing over him, almost motionless, is a hooded figure. Its face is hidden beneath a dark, bone-white mask, its thin fingers twitching at its side. The wounded man's eyes snap to you, desperate. "Please, don't let it take me." The hooded figure slowly turns its head towards you. I roll an insight check and got a 7. You can't read it. The hooded figure stands unnaturally still, its bone-white mask revealing nothing. There's no breath, no sound, only the faintest tilt of its head as it regards you. The wounded man struggles to move, his bleeding worsening. "Help me." The figure slowly lifts a hand, long fingers curled like a predator's talons. It's about to do something. So I rush at it. Barbarian rage. You charge forward, raising the splintered club high as you swing with all of your strength at the hooded figure before it can act. Your club smashes into the hooded figure's mask, the impact cracking the bone-white surface and snapping its head to the side. The force of the blow staggers it slightly, but it makes no sound, no grunt, no hiss, just a slow, eerie adjustment of its posture. The club splinters further, but the masked figure barely reacts. Based on what you're reading, it's not bad, and you know how I feel about AI. I would not spend time playing this way for reasons other than who created it. Dramatic reading. So here's the thing. I don't have very many options when it comes to playing D&D. So this is definitely like a small side project. But I will say this. The one thing that I am taking from this and what I have been loving about this is descriptions, is descriptive, the whole thing of when you're in combat. One of the things I try to do with my players is to narrate their actions. And that has always been a factor for me. It sucks playing D&D or any TTRPG. Whenever you're in combat, it's like, I rolled a, 17, and it's like, okay, I deal 4 points of damage. Okay, cool. Next turn. Okay, I rolled a 16, and I deal 2 points of damage. I love the stuff where it's like, you run up to him, you smash his head with your club, some splintering scene up the club, his head twists to the side, but he doesn't speak. He simply turns back to you. You can see an eye, you can see a crack down the mask, and there's nothing but blackness underneath. Like that stuff is what I really want to take from this. And I understand, you know, this is essentially a choose your own adventure. You know, it will take everything that I want to do into question, and I can type freely to it, and it will try to do its best. And honestly, it's pretty decent at it. But, you know, yeah, obviously this is not essentially real D&D, especially since I'm not playing with anybody else other than myself and who my new companion is about to be. So yeah, your club splinters further, but the masked figure barely reacts. The crack in its bone-white mask spreads slightly, revealing utter darkness beneath. No face, no flesh, just an empty void. It tilts its head towards you, then moves. It hits me. The figure's clawed fingers clamp around your face as an icy numbness surges through your skin. I take 6 points of necrotic damage. Your vision blurs, a creeping darkness swirling at the edges of your sight. This thing isn't just attacking you, it's draining you. The hooded figure is still gripping your face, so I attack it while I'm grappled. You fight through the pain, raising your splintered club and swinging at the hooded figures despite its grip on you. I got a 16 on the attack. Dealt 3 points of damage, or 7 points of damage. Even while grappled, you slam your club into the hooded figure's skull-like mask again, widening the crack and making its grip shudder slightly. Your club smashes into the mask again, widening the crack and causing splinters of bone-like material to break away. The dark void beneath writhes, something shifting and twisting inside. For the first time, the figure reacts. It recoils slightly, its grip loosening just enough for you to breathe again. The hooded figure's grasp tighten, but you twist your head away, breaking its direct contact before the draining energy can take hold. Its fingers twitch as if frustrated, but you've gained the upper hand. The creature is weakened, its mask cracked and faltering. You can feel its grip loosening, but it is still dangerous, and I attack it. I aim to kill this thing. You tighten your grip on the broken club, raising it high for one final devastating strike. I hit. Got a 20. I like how it says critical hit. This is the one thing that, like, it definitely did, where I think it confused this as, like, my roll, like, what I physically rolled on a d20 and not, like, this was a 17 plus 3. I actually get to the point where I'm, like, I go further into telling it, like, oh, I got a 17 plus this. But I think it still considers this like a critical, anything like over 20. But I think it's just more for the flair. You drive the broken club down with all your might, the splintered wood slamming into the hooded figure's already fractured mask. The bone-like shell shatters completely, revealing nothing but a swirling black void beneath. The figure jerks violently, its form shuddering as if it's unraveling. Then, with a silent, implosive collapse, it disintegrates into shadow, vanishing into the air like a mist in the wind. The room falls silent. The cold air lingers, but the presence is gone. You stand over the spot where it vanished, catching your breath. The wounded man is staring at you, his expression torn between shock and relief. By the gods, you actually killed it. I thought I was dead. I look over at the man and ask him, "Me too. Are you okay? Who are you? Where the hell are we? And what the hell was that?" The wounded man looks up at you, still panting from the pain, his eyes wide and with lingering fear. He grimaces, pressing a shaking hand into his bleeding side. "I'll live. Barely. Name's Ronan Vale. Used to run with a crew outside the borderlands, but let's just say things went very bad. Guess you could say I'm a criminal, same as you." He glances around, his gaze darkening. "This place? It's the Iron Crypts of Korath. The worst goddamn prison in the world. But this ain't a normal prison. Something's wrong. The wardens are gone. The halls are crawling with things like that. And as for what that is, no clue. But I've seen others like it. They don't talk. They don't breathe. They just take people. Drag them away. And nobody comes back." He looks up at me, desperate. "You're strong, and I need strong. If we want to get out of here, we stick together. What do you say? I look at him. I agree. We can't afford not to stick together right now. I'm Brutus Bjorn, leader of the Bear Bandits. Last thing I remember was working a job to liberate some gold from a noble's pockets. Then I think I got hit in the head and things just went dark. I paused to look around to see if there's anything, to Ronan, or if there's anything to arm him with. Ronan joins me. I got a teammate. I got an NPC. Ronan lets out a pained chuckle. Bear Bandits. Sounds like my kind of crew. Not it did us much good in the end. Brutus, huh? Well, let's get one thing straight. I don't plan on dying down here. So yeah, we stick together. He spits blood onto the stone floor and wipes his mouth. You scan the room for anything useful, checking the remains of the hooded figure in the cell. I rolled a 16 investigation. Search the area thoroughly, checking the cell, the remains of the hooded figure, and even the cracks in the stone walls. You find a rusty shiv, a crude makeshift knife wedged into the cell wall. You give this to Ronan. Torn cloth straps can be used as a makeshift bandages to slow Ronan's bleeding. You found a small metal key tucked beneath a loose stone in the wall, and a strange bone charm taken from the hooded figure's remains. It's carved with runes similar to those on the collars. Ronan takes the shiv. Ronan takes the shiv, testing its weight. Better than nothing, he mutters. He presses the cloth to his wound, nodding in appreciation. Then he eyes the small key in your hand. That's gotta be something. Might be our way out. At this point, I want to check this bone charm. I actually did pretty well on my Arcana check. You turn the strange bone charm over in your hands. Its etched runes faintly glowing with a cold, unnatural light. The markings look similar to the one in the iron collars. This thing might have some connection to whatever magic binds you here. As you focus on the strange runes, a faint pulse of magic runs through the charm, almost like a heartbeat. You don't fully understand the enchantment, but you recognize one key function. This charm disrupts the collars. You grip your own collar, feeling the cold metal pulse faintly in response to the charm's presence. The connection is weak, but you can, if you channel enough force or magic into it, you might be able to disable your own collar or someone else's. So I'm given the option. I'm given a description here. This is the Warden's Disruption Charm. Has one charge remaining. Now, the thing is, Ronan says, that thing, it messes with the collars, doesn't it? Think you can get this off? And at this point, I tell him, let's hold off on using this for now. All we know, it may send a signal or call more of those things to us. I pause for a moment, assessing my own wounds. Let's take a moment to sit and handle our wounds. No sense in heading into danger not at full strength. So, we sit there, we hang out, and, we rest. I think I'm going to leave it for that. My plan with this is to do a stream where, I actually just kind of play this out a little bit. Now, I will say one of the fun things with this is, again, I don't have the opportunity to play a lot of D&D myself as a player. So while this is a simulated version of that, and it's definitely a boiled down, experience to me and just the computer and whatever it is generating to posit to me, I've been enjoying this. And I will say it has been a fun adventure so far. Essentially, Ronan and I have marched through this place. We fought another ghoul together that was eating the remains of one of the possible guards of this keep. Found some extra weapons, found an enchanted ring and a strange badge. We then fought one of the old wardens who was killed, burned him with fire by throwing him into a brazier. And then we found the last warden, and Brutus had to make a decision at that point. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I've been having fun with it. This is my art for Brutus. I can't Can't unfortunately make it any bigger. He's just a big burly dude with a beard and wears a bear skin over his head and kind of has like, you know, the William Wallace blue line down his face. And I actually asked ChatGPT to give me a picture of Ronan. So that's our buddy Ronan. He's doing pretty well for himself. But yeah, like I said, you can see here, like, I started telling it, you know, like, oh, here's my modifier, you know, versus my role. But yeah, like I said, I've been having fun with it, and it's obviously not the same as playing actual D&D. You know, there's a disconnect that comes with it, where you're kind of having to handle everything yourself. And that's not to necessarily say that that's, you know, a bad thing, because how many times do people in the community ask, like, you know, hey, how do you do solo D&D? I have a friend that wants to play, but he has a really tight schedule. And, you know, he and I are available one night every 2 weeks for a few hours, and it's just going to be the two of us. And that's kind of how this feels. You know, this digital DM has given me an NPC that I can play off of, that I can chat with. You know, we have a bit of banter between the two of us. I'm able to ask him questions, and it simulates the rules for him, so it can feed me some information. And it's one of those things where without this tool, yeah, I would not have, you know, this story now that I can revel in, and I can, you know, share with folks like you that, you know, that are watching and hanging out here. And, you know, I know that AI has its issues, and I know that it can be, it's funny, I'm going to say this when the words right here, it can have a volatile, you know, kind of feel to it in different communities. But I just gotta say, you know, there is something about the way that it describes things, the way that it handles things, that just works for me. So, all right, but we're gonna get back into hanging out. If anybody has anything you want to chat about, anything you want to talk about, you got topics, you got questions for me, feel free, drop them there in the chat. I am hanging out here tonight, adding some monsters to D&D Beyond from the Essentials, the Essential NPC book from where was it? Oh, I forget now, and I feel so bad. Well, yeah, let's just say Trent McKay and Jonah Leslie. So yeah, these are about 20, I think, yeah, 26 different archetypes with 13 stat blocks for each, from CR 1/4 up to CR 17. Or CR 20, yeah, CR 20. It jumps from 17 to 20. But there's some skips, you know, it's like every odd one after like level 5. So it's nothing crazy. And I got to add these to D&D Beyond so that I can then import them into my VTT of choice. And the nice thing is that I can just, as I was kind of mentioning before, if you're ever adding monsters or anything to D&D Beyond, a very simple tactic is add one if you're adding like multiple challenge ratings of something, you can just do that, you know, make a copy of, and it just copies everything over, and then we can add stuff in as we need. Chemical potion. And these are going to be italicized. All right. And we need to change some stuff down here. So, yo. Oh, hey, what's up, Hostile Intent? The real King Flip. You know, it's... Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, you were the... If I'm not mistaken, weren't you the one in... Where was it? So Hostile Intent, so to those from the GMP server, welcome. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. So something that I'm actually helping Josh out with, GM Philosopher, is he had mentioned at one point that he was looking for somebody to kind of create a recap of the daily goings-ons of the server. Just kind of like a newsletter almost, a little like daily dive into what had gone on, the conversations that may have happened, kind of make it like, you know, a goofy, fun, tabloidy thing. And so I, you know, it's funny, you keep talking about AI. I leveraged ChatGPT to help me organize that stuff, and you know, wanted to see how I could throw it together, you know, just to help him out with it. And I created this little newsletter, and one of the things that I put into it, because, you know, I wanted to have, you know, some drama. I wanted to talk about, like, you know, when we had the 35 live viewers, and I've kind of been doing it off to the side. I haven't posted anything to the channel yet, but this was on the 24th. I put in their quote of the day from Hostile Intent: "Beware, mimic tongues are sticky." Because that was like whenever when GPT kicked out, like, you know, notable things. It was like, you know, just this amazing quote of "mimic tongues are sticky," and I thought that was absolutely hilarious. All right. Wait, did I add movement for this? I didn't. Bum bum ba ba bum 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 ba bum. There we go. Okay, that's good. Gotta add movement to this one though. Walk. Not 390. 30. Oh. Cool. Going on to challenge rating 1 alchemist. I got some cold Wendy's fries here. Right by 170. Challenge rating 1. Oh shit. You know what? I just realized I gotta be more careful, because this changed. This changed from 1d6 to 2d6. And I gotta be careful about that. All right, so now it is, oh, don't click that. So now we got a DC 12. and 3d6 of our chosen damage type. And down here, this is changing to a 12, and anything? No, that's right. We just added that. But now this thing is getting some new spell-like effects for their potions. All right, so that's good. Jump down here, and we are up to 31 hit points. We now have 7 dice. And intelligence went up 1. Nothing else in there, but our Arcana is going to go up because of that, which is really nice. Small token, got the art. All right, come on, there we go. All right, nothing else would be changing, or wait, I guess I do have to go in and change this. Typically the plus proficiency, if it's proficient, yeah. I wish I could just hit Arcana and it would just do it automatically, but I don't think that actually works. So what are you guys up to tonight? I know I'm just sitting here adding monsters to Beyond for my own use. I think the baby's getting a bath right now. Something kind of me wanting to create a character. My broom broke, so now I ride a dragon. It's reasonable. Somebody made a point recently in a video I saw, or a YouTube short maybe, that was kind of talking about why dragons would actually be kind of okay with having dragon riders. Like, why would they want somebody climbing on them? And they kind of made the point about how, like, a dragon's back is kind of its weak spot in a way. You know, if there's something that's attacking it from behind, or if, you know, it like things are being thrown at it, that whole area is, we don't need to change that whole thing. That whole area is kind of a weak spot. Great. Oh, we got bark skin now. Not sure what character would possibly travel by broom and then by dragon. I mean, it could be anything really, as long as you have access to a small dragon that you're able to ride as a mount. Drake Warden would definitely get it because of the class feature. You could also reflavor a ranger's beast companion to look dragon-esque if it was like a beast of the sky or something like that. That's definitely an option. Nothing else needs to change. Cool. See, that was simple. That was simple. Typically, no one ends up riding a dragon. I mean, it's very rare. Yes, I will give you that. It is not a common thing. But it's not an impossible thing. Again, you just kind of got to build up to that. All right, so we are now CR3, which means we're going to be getting some new damage. Means that our spells have now changed. We now get some of them twice a day. Didn't click the right button. There we go. So now they're casting Bark Skin, enlarge, reduce, and invisibility twice a day. Everything else, we got some hit points bumping up. We got 54. We're at 12. D8, nice. And they have gained a resistance. Nice. Okay. Oh shit. One of the following. Witches usually travel by broom. A witch with a dragon is bait. Ah, that's a good argument there. Hell yeah. I wish I could just type in here, you know, one of the following. Acid, fire, or poison. Just wish you could do that. We're gonna do this. Not gonna have any other way of really doing that. I gotta keep in mind though, like, I'm not necessarily making this for anyone else. And I know that this thing isn't gonna have, you know, 5 or, 3 different resistances. Maleficent. My understanding was more that she was a dragon. That she was a fairy. As far as I remember from the Maleficent movie, she was a fairy that had horns, so she was kind of looked down upon. Or was she a fairy? I want to use the word Valkyrie almost, but I know that's not the case. Okay, so did anything? No, nothing in there changed. We're still at DC 12. That's good. Nothing else changes. I don't think any of these are going to change. Well, possibly skill. Oh, wait, actually, dexterity got buffed. Look at that. Oh, that means the AC has gone up. Look at that. Oh, and intelligence has gone up too. Good for this guy. All right. Saw the movie, did not. Yeah. That appears to be the case. Give me 1 second. I gotta walk over to my cooler and grab a drink. And my shorts have a big hole in them, so I don't want you to see my butt. That's right. She also had a dragon. She is the antagonist. No, she, not Snow White, Sleeping Beauty. Yep. She, find out a lot more about her in the actual Maleficent movies, which obviously makes sense. But arguably you could make a witch who, you could definitely make a witch who, you know, has like a dragon egg, and you know, eventually it hatches. She has a broom, and then one day her broom breaks, and so the dragon offers for her to ride it. I forgot I had Wendy's nuggets behind my keyboard. Such a fat guy thing, you know. It's like put food around my desk so that I can just, you know, stumble upon it here and there. All right, moving on to the first big change. Challenge rating 5. Did I never save this? Oh, wait. Is it because I put a space? No. Oh, because I didn't, or I did put a space. All right, Alchemist CR3. Hopefully this witch is an elf, so you can live long enough to see it reach. Yeah, I guess that is true. All right. So no longer volatile concoction. We now have hazardous compound. We have a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff at level 5. How many is 2 dragons to have on a desk? I have 3. One is a mouse mat. I mean, I don't know. I have a desk mat that has a red dragon on it. I have Bahamut over here hanging out, keeping my what's nots together. It's down here somewhere underneath my monitor. I have this, which is a little sleeping dragon on a pile of coins, and there's a D20 in it, which is a red crystal D20. And it says KNL 55 2022 because that's my wife and I's anniversaries, Kaylee and Lucas. So this holds a little keepsake from my wife. I think that was a birthday present a year or so ago. Yeah, I also have a, I don't know where it went. I had one around here. I had a little, what's that thing you put drink coasters on? Coasters. I have a little coaster that has a red dragon on it. I also, I don't have it at my desk, but I know I have at least like 2 dragons over on one of my shelf. Cons are great for merch. They're the best. Cons are just great in general. So fun to go and hang out with people that like the same thing you do, and you know, and when you're wearing a shirt that says Dungeon Master, you know, they're not questioning, oh, what does that mean? You hang out in a dungeon? Like, well, not really. I guess it depends on your definition of dungeon. Right. Italicized. Italicized. Ooh. Go to San Diego once. Just, yeah, that would be fun. I'm planning. I talked to my wife about it, but possibly, only possibly, in June I might be going to one out in Ohio, called Origins, but I don't know for sure. You know, gotta see how the money is when we get to that time. Yo, what's up, Nicro? Welcome, welcome. We're just hanging out, man. We're just hanging out. I got some I got some stuff I want to add to D&D Beyond. Some NPCs. So just jumping in here, hanging out. Kelf is the man. I guess I am a man. Boy, we gotta buff up our Arcana and our Medicine. Okay, I actually want to test something. So, okay, so right now, if I view this, it's gonna tell me, okay, so my Arcana is 4 and 3, which is great. But if I go into here and I edit these and I just delete those, and I you know what, I can just delete one just to test. Oh shit, I should just change that to 4. Fuck. Did I get it in time? No, of course not. Yeah, if you follow other people. I say I do have my own, my couple few. There we go. We got the little ghost. Right. Let me see what this does. If I put a 0 there, or I don't put anything there, is it going to figure it out on its own? No, it gives it a +0. So that sucks. So I do have to manually go in and edit that each time, anytime there is a change. Oh, this is why I always say, like, people, it's, you know, I bumped over to affiliate just for like certain features, but it's like, I don't like when people sub to my channel with money. Like, give me your Bezos bucks, give me those Prime subs. That's what I'm all about. Give me that money, that's that free sub that's given to you because you want free shipping on Amazon. I'm all for that. Oh shit. Wait, when did he gain 3 languages? No money to Bezos. I give Jeff Bezos enough money. So beats everyone. So funny enough, I actually just ordered something on Amazon the other day. So it is going to be my wife and daughter's birthday soon. Literally 3 days from now. And we're having a small gathering for the family for a birthday. And since we have still a bunch of stuff from the baby shower from last year, and it was all mermaid theme, we're doing mermaid theme again. And my sister-in-law decided that she was going to make shirts with her Cricut machine that say mermaid security for me, my brother, and my nephew. What I didn't tell my wife, though, and what I plan on surprising her with, is I got a like I said, it's all mermaid stuff, so I got a costume that is Poseidon from the Disney Little Mermaid. I plan on wearing that just to get her reaction. Cannot wait. Absolutely cannot wait. It's gonna be the funniest thing in the world. All right. All right. 7. So we got bump up on dexterity on the dex save. Cool. And anything change in this? This is now a DC 14. This is now a little more healing. This is also a DC 14. And looks like enhance ability is now twice a day. And greater invisibility is now once a day. Nice. Right. Got AC bumping up to a 12. Hell yeah. Passive perception bumps up. Oh, what? We're getting a bump to our wisdom score. Look at that. All right. We got 99 hit points. That bitch ain't one. Dex also bumped up because we got that armor class buff. Intelligence also went up. Man, we are just cranking that. And we now have intelligence saving throws as well. I just realized with how much time it's taken me to do this is going to take me like days. I thought this was going to be so much faster. And I mean, technically speaking, what I'm doing is kind of the faster way of doing it because I'm not having to rewrite everything, but like it's still sitting in the back of my mind. Like there's 26 archetypes and 13 stat blocks for each. Whoa. All right, so Arcana is buffing to 6, Alchemy is buffing to, or Medicine is buffing to 5. And I think that's about it for that. I did have a distraction, yeah, so I was I definitely was very much, you know, chatting about my solo D&D thing, you know, my AI thing. Which I might do that stream on Wednesday. For those that weren't here when I was talking about that, I was I was talking about how, you know, I don't play a lot of D&D for myself. Like, I don't play D&D much. But I used a prompt on ChatGPT to essentially run a game. It's a fairly long prompt and explanation, and I have a character on D&D Beyond named Brutus Bjorn, the human barbarian leader of the Bear Bandits, and I've been playing this. I've been playing my own game, and having ChatGPT be my, you know, impromptu DM. It's kind of just like a choose your own adventure, and but I got an ally. I got a dude named Ronan now with me. Just rescued him. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. And then I will say this though, and I know, again, we talked about this over in the GMP server. We were discussing, there's a big discussion on AI, but the one thing that I will say that is really nice about it, that kind of is a benefit to playing it that way, is that it's something that I'm not reliant on anyone else to do. I don't have to wait for somebody else to have a day off. I don't have to wait for somebody to have time to make time for me to play, or me to make time for them to play. I can throw, you know, a reply or, you know, a response into whatever's going on and then kind of walk away from it. Which meant that I was able to, you know, play a little bit of it at work the one night, you know, just pull it up on my phone and read what it says, put in my response, and then just move on. So, yeah, I'm having fun with it. And, like I said, we'll probably do something with it soon. But what I think would be cool is to kind of redo the thing. Not that one. Leave that one for myself. But to do it again in a different chat. And have somebody else with me. Have actually, like, you know, two or three, like one or two other people. Because we tried that one time. My buddies Smith and Aaron, we made random characters, gave them very simple backstories, made sheets on D&D Beyond, and we used ChatGPT to try it. But there's been so many advances to it. There's been so many updates. It is a lot better at what it does. I mean, it's still fallible, and it still makes mistakes. That's actually one of the things that I put in the prompt for it, was that if at any point I use in brackets the word hack, then it will essentially let me rewrite something. Oh, Jesus. It'll let me rewrite something that it did. So if there was something that I didn't like that it did, then I can just essentially change that part of it. Which, again, obviously isn't like real D&D, you know. Your DM isn't just going to be sitting there letting you raise your hand and going, but can we change that to not do that? It's not how it works. But this is not real D&D, in a way. It's not real D&D. Soon enough, though, I will be playing real D&D, as I am, yeah, essentially retcons. I mean, that's a, well, it's not even necessarily retcons, because, like, oh, I guess, no, yeah, actually, that would be the case, yeah, that would be essentially what it is, yeah, good word. But I will actually be playing real D&D very soon. In fact, in 2 weeks, yes, with Dr. Pibbs, who is in here before, we are going to be playing in the GM Philosopher's game, The Barren Lands, which is going to be, where was it? As he described it one day, a gripping, grim tale of adventurers in a magical world thrust deep into the heart of a barren Arctic wasteland. The tones and themes of this campaign are going to be the mortal's journey in coping with darkness, scarcity, hopelessness, and the constant threat of despair and the impending doom of failure. Yeah, the primary goal of this campaign will be to tell a collaborative story of the player's characters. So yeah, it's not going to be like a goofy, zany, like, oh, I'm playing Shit Dick Johnson or something like that. No, like, this is going to be get into character. This is going to be, we role play. And I am playing Soul, the gold dragonborn Sun Paladin. Cannot wait. So excited for that. It'll be so fun to actually play the game that I know. Like, I played a Pathfinder game, which is great and all. I love my friends. I love playing with them, and I love my character. I play a pug person bard, and I love him to death. He's named after my dog, Bo. But there's something about the fact that, like, it's not D&D, it's Pathfinder, so there's subtle differences. So, I mean, just kind of one of those things. Oh, that's like, wait, why is numbers going up? That proficiency bonus went up. Cool. We gotta bump up skills here. So Arcana is going up to a 7, and this is going up to a 6. Dragonborns are a favorite. I like Dragonborns. I like them. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say they're a favorite of mine. More just that, like, I definitely do enjoy Dragonborn. I think they're fun. I think they're interesting. They have really cool effects. There's nothing quite like spitting fire or lightning at somebody. But what I don't care about with Dragonborn is how some people to this day still mix up what their whole shtick is. Because some people think of Dragonborn as their half dragons. That they were born from a dragon, or that, a dragon birthed them. And that's just not how Dragonborn were actually created. The Dragonborn in 5th edition came from the lands of Abir, which is the kind of sister mirror world to the Forgotten Realms world of Toril, because years ago within the mythology, not bold, italicized, years ago within the mythology, Abir Toril was the same world. It was the same thing. And it was inhabited by gods and dragons. And they were constantly fighting with one another. The primordials, sorry. Really certain they didn't exist as a character. They did. Page 32. Page 32 of the original 2014 Player's Handbook. Dragonborn. God, that's hard to see because of my filter. Dragonborn. Definitely were there. I think you were just far more enamored with the elves when you first started playing. That Dragonborn wasn't much of an option in your mind. That's weird. But the thing, like I said, the thing with the Dragonborn was that Abir and Toril were the same world. They were, you know, they were like right there. And there was the primordials, and there was the gods, and there was the dragons. And so they were fighting constantly with one another for control. And eventually what happened was the big old, you know, the like god above, like the dragons, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. Let me make sure. Check my resources. Oh yeah, I looked up the wrong one. I looked up the wrong two-letter figure. So the thing was that, you know, when they were fighting with one another, the god Ao just got fucking fed up with all of it. And he was, you know, he was basically just like, done, you know, we're not doing this anymore. And he took, he basically took the world, Abir Toril, which, oh yeah, it's, I was about to say, it's gonna only go to one, isn't it? Yeah, so we had Abir, we have Toril, which is the world of the Forgotten Realms, and he basically said, all right, broke it in half in a way, you know, split it into different dimensions. They existed on top of one another, but he basically said, okay, the gods and the primordials that he was ruler over, he was, you know, he was above them all. He basically was like, all right, so here's the deal. The gods and primordials are going to get Toril, and the dragons are going to get Abir. And so we have Ao, who's basically saying this, and we have Io, who is the god of, who is the god above gods in dragons. So like you have Tiamat, who is the goddess, you know, is the evil goddess of dragons, the mother of all dragons, and you have Bahamut, who is the platinum dragon of justice, and like, you know, kind of the overlord of good dragons. And then you have Io, who is above those two and above all dragons. So, like I said, Ao basically was like, all right, fuck this, splits Abir Toril into two separate worlds. And the thing was that the dragons who were now on Abir, they, you know, they had their, you know, they had their world, they had the creatures in it and all that jazz. And they kind of got a little annoyed with the fact that in Abir Toril, the gods were worshipped, and they were given praise and they were given gifts and they gained powers because of that worship. And the dragons were like, well, we want that. We want to be worshipped like gods. We deserve to be worshipped like gods. Hey, look at this. This guy's getting wisdom. That's baller. And so the dragons basically said, you know what? We're gonna make our own worshippers with blackjack and hookers. And then they said, okay, out of the dirt, out of the essence of dragon, they are then going to create the Dragonborn. They're going to create these things that look like them because the humans looked like the gods. So they are like, we want something that looks like us, that will worship us the same way. But here's the problem. Dragons do not make good gods. Dragons do not make, benevolent overlords, especially when their whole thing is literally, we're so petty that we want to create things that will worship us, and thus they're creating them for that purpose. And that's where we get Dragonborn. They were born of dragon. And what ended up happening was during the time of troubles. So some amount of time goes by. I could not tell you how much time goes by. But an amount of time goes by, and eventually we have the time of troubles. So if you don't know, the time of troubles, which if you ever read the Dritz book series, it actually happens in there. So where was it? Yeah. So basically what happened, sorry, I had to check my resources. There were these two gods. You've heard of them. You know them. You love them. Bane and Merkel. Bane, god of tyranny. Merkel, god of death. And what they did is they intended on stealing the tablets of fate, which was kind of built to make sure that the two worlds of Abir Toril stayed separate. These are created by AO. And what happened was when this happened, AO got pissed. Again, keep in mind, AO is the god above gods. He's kind of like Zeus in a way where, the other gods, revere him. He's above them. But then again, you also have evil gods. They don't really respect that, especially chaos. So what happens is, Lord AO basically says, nah, you guys fucked around. Now you're going to find out. And he takes all of the gods except for one, which is Helm, who is that a stink bug? God damn it. Yeah, all for one, who was Helm. And he basically said, okay, everyone is going to have to now walk amongst the world. You're going to go walk amongst your followers, and you are going to learn your lesson. Okay. You're going to learn your lesson about why you don't fuck around and find out. And so the gods were kicked from the divine realms. They were sent to the material plane. And that had some major consequences that occurred. First of all, divine magic. So clerics, paladins for the most part, some druids, divine soul sorcerers, warlocks, actually warlocks wouldn't be the case. But anything that had to do with divine magic was just immediately turned off, just gone. You know, clerics could no longer pray for their spells. Paladins, if their, you know, oaths were tied to a god, could no longer, you know, get their abilities. So they just ceased to function altogether. And the only way that they could have any kind of divinity or magical power is if they were near their god's avatar. So this kind of caused like a rush of those those divine individuals to like try and hunt down their avatars when they found out that the gods were forced to walk amongst men. So the second thing that happened, so obviously divine magic stopping working, clearly an issue, but wait, why did that jump from 9 to 7? We got a proficiency bonus. Oh, did I miss the fact that we got an 18 now in intelligence? I probably did. I don't know. 16, 18? It's weird. It's weird that the Arcana here isn't 8. It should be, and this should be 7. Well, I still have 11 up, so I can fix that. So yeah, like I said, first thing that happens is the divine magic just, you know, shuts off. The second thing that happens is that arcane magic goes fucking hog wild. Okay. The thing is that when you think about divine magic, you think about gods, physical beings that exist within divine realms, and they are the ones that have the magic within them and they bestow it upon their followers. Arcane magic comes from the weave, which is a kind of like, you know, it's like an ephemeral force that exists in the world and is able to be harnessed only because the wizards and sorcerers and whatnot are able to kind of manipulate it. But the thing is that the weave in its own right is highly unpredictable and extremely dangerous, which is why the goddess Mistral, Mistra. Mistral eventually was killed and was replaced by Mistra. But Mistra, being that she was forced into the material plane, she could not help regulate the weave. So arcane magic just goes fucking hog wild. If you read the Drizzt Do'Urden books, there's a part where he visits one of the Harples, and I think like his head is detached or something like that because he was performing an experiment when this happened. And the thing is like the time of troubles, it wasn't just like a short period of time. Like, it went on for like a few months, if not maybe even longer. I can't remember exactly how long it lasted, but yeah, so that was like, you know, that was kind of like the big thing with it was, you know, all the gods basically, you know, went, you know, having to do that. Now, why I bring this up, because I've been rambling for a while, and rambling is something that I do for all too often. So the reason why I bring this up is because our original conversation was on Dragonborn. So what ends up happening, because Bane and Merkel decided that they were going to steal the Tablets of Fate, that was the thing that kept Ebir and Toril separate. Well, when they fucking stole those, that caused the border between those worlds to kind of glitch a little bit. And so what happened was some land masses from Ebir appeared in Toril, and some land masses from Toril disappeared and appeared in Ebir. So this meant that, like, all of a sudden, big land masses just, like, popped up out of nowhere. And that's where some of the Dragonborn were. And everybody was confused. All this chaos going on in the world. Gods running around, you know, being dumb with what they're doing. And some of those Dragonborn, who, again, were basically slaves to the dragons. They were literally created to serve dragons. They were like, no, we don't want to go back there. We want to stay here. So they entered into the lands of Toril and have just kind of been there ever since. And that is where Dragonborn actually come from. They were created by dragons in order to be slaves and worship them. And this is why I don't like when people play Dragonborn paladins who worship dragons. And I will give credit to where credit is due. Any one player can make whatever they want to make work for them between them and their dungeon master. But I just personally do not like when you have a Dragonborn worshiping dragons, because Dragonborn should kind of hate dragons. So that's one of those things. Yeah, no, a lot of people don't look into the lore. A lot of people see Dragonborn and they're like, oh man, you know, like, I want to be a Dragonborn. You know, my mom, my dad was a dude and my mom was a dragon and he fucked the dragon. It's like, no, that would make you a half dragon. I'm a good man. And that's not what you are. That's why half-elves are a thing. Why half-orcs are a thing. That's why halflings are a thing, you know? When a human has sex with a ling, when a human has sex with an elf, you get a half-elf. Human has sex with an orc, you get a half-orc. Human has sex with a ling, you get a half-ling. All right. So, like I said, I didn't realize how long this was going to take me. This is definitely more of a time sink than I thought it was going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up. I only got 2 more stat blocks. I got 17 and 20 to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up the Alchemist, and then I'm going to be done for the night. I do need to make some hero forges. I actually started that process. So I can do my project. Oh my God. And Aaron just shows up. I did start that process a little bit. So this was the picture of the tavern owner of the Tavern of Many Faces, and I wanted to try and recreate him in Hero Forge as best as possible. And while it's not perfect, I did get something that's reasonable. So we got this guy. Again, not too bad. No, it's just because I'm only going to be on for like a little bit longer. I'm not going to be on for much longer. But yeah, so we got Al, you know, and this would be, you know, Al when he's standing behind the bar and, you know, the players are walking in. Oh, he gives them a wave, you know, hey, how's it going? You know, welcome back from your adventure. And it's like, oh, what's that? You're looking for a new, you know, a new adventure to join your party? Oh, of course, you know, here at the Tavern of Many Faces, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so we got Al set up, and I'm gonna make some of the others for like Alric. I'm curious. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do Paxton here. Paxton is Al's father, and they run the Tavern of Many Faces together. I didn't know if I wanted to have like the same NPC like every time the videos start up where it's always Al. But like I definitely I definitely want to at least try and make Paxton here. The shitty thing is Heroes Forge hair sucks. Like I can't recreate this hair. Like this is as close as I got, and to me it feels like dreadlocks almost. But yeah, that's definitely still something that I'm slowly working at. If you need help, let me know. I will. It's definitely something I'm moving very slowly at. I have a handful of other things that I'm working on. Obviously, like this, adding, you know, all the monster. Jesus Christ, I always forget that goes further. You know, adding all the NPCs from this book is a bit of a project. Oh no! It's a happy honeybee! Hi, baby girl. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Bobo.
Bobo's downstairs. That's you. What's up? You want the D20? Oh, big metal D20. Yeah. You tell everybody hi? Say hi. Look up here. Up here. Tell them, say hi. Say hi, internets.
Hi, guys.
Say hi, guys. Say hi. Say hi into here. Yeah. You going to bed?
Yep.
Yeah. Going to bed. Yeah, we're gonna have a big day. We're gonna go grocery shopping. We're gonna go out to dinner. Oh, I know. Yeah.
Get your favorite thing, veggie roll?
Yeah, gonna go and get a veggie roll, get a spring roll. Aaron said good night. Say good night, birthday buddy. Huh?
Ma.
Yeah. What's up? Here, you want to see this one again? This one spins, huh? It's a dice tower. It's a spinner. It goes shoosh. Beep, beep, beep. Don't lick it. No, ma'am. I don't want to lick it either. No, thank you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That'll hurt your teeth. We don't want you hurting your teeth. Nope, it's all metal. Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
What, you want the D20 back?
Oh.
It's heavy, huh? You're a strong girl. What? You want to hear the music? Here, help me.
What am I doing?
Put this on her. Just hear the music. Say hi. And you hear me? It's loud. I know. It's not that loud. Yeah. Tell everyone good night. Good night, Internet. Good night, Kel's Corner. I'm just a baby Kiva. I'm gonna go sheep. Yeah, you said with Dada. Yeah. All right. You have a good night, okay? Listen. Oh, you have a good night, little girl. Have a good sleep. And I'll see you in the morning, huh? Otto. Do. All right. All right. Good night, honeybee. As she disappears into the void. Tell my other birthday buddy hi. Aaron says hi.
Hi, Aaron.
For those of you out there that do not know, my wife and Aaron and Kiva all have the same birthday, January 30th. I was just about to say, you know what, funny enough, I was just about to say, like, I don't share a birthday with anyone, but I actually do. My friend Holly and I share a birthday of April 3rd. Holy shit. It's really sad. So I'm not using the normal keyboard that I normally used. My other keyboard was having some issues with it, so I traded it out for a different one. I forgot this one has... Most standard keyboards have control on both sides of the space bar, but some like smaller formats like I use don't. Forgot that this one has a control on the right side as well. And I was like, oh man, controls all the way on the left and the I's up there. I can't use one hand to italicize that. I remembered the other one is there. Funny enough, so slight tangent. To those of you that don't know me as well, I'm a keyboard snob, and I like what the hell? I like really cool mechanical keyboards, but recently I saw this campaign on Kickstarter for something called the Attack Shark X65, which, I mean, oh, let's make sure we mute that.
Defeat your opponents. Stay one step ahead.
The thing is that this is not really like a mechanical keyboard in a sense. This is a magnetic keyboard. And what that means is if you have like a standard keyboard, you go to Walmart and you buy like a $5 or $10 keyboard. In most cases, the way that those work is you have a membrane that sits above the circuit board, okay, the PCB. And when you press a key down, there's a flow of electricity going through the board. And when you press a key down, it pushes a rubber stopper, which pushes into the membrane, and that cuts off the signal from the source to the input. And so that then registers that based on where that signal is stopping, that's what key is getting pressed. That's how a membrane keyboard works. And the problem with that is that if you're typing fast, it may not recognize you hitting multiple keys, because if you press so many keys, eventually the signal could stop in other places. This is called rollover. Mechanical keyboards work in a different way. So the way that a mechanical keyboard works, should have an image. Yes, perfect. So the way the mechanical keyboards work is in your circuit board, you have a key switched. They have another picture, a together picture of a key switch. Yes. So you have these key switches, and they connect into that printed circuit board. And the way that it works is that when you press the key down, it pushes this stem, which pushes down with this spring. The spring adds tension. And then there's this leaf, this contact leaf. And the way that this leaf is designed is that when you push it down, this little ridge right here, okay, this pushes into this piece of metal. And then that makes contact with the other side. And so what ends up happening is that it does the same thing. It sends whereas before it was sending a signal, or it was interrupting a signal. This one is that it's creating a signal. Now, the upside to that is that you can have as many keys pressed down as you want. It's called N key rollover. Well, there is another type of switch, and it's called optical. And the way that an optical switch works, is this going to show it? Yes, perfect. This is the one that I remember too. So the way that an optical switch works is when you push the key down, it pushes the stem, and inside, so these prongs go into the PCB, and the one shines a laser to the other. And when this interrupts it, it breaks that connection, and that signals that this key is getting pressed. Kind of the same as the mechanical one. It pushes that, it interrupts the signal, and it sends, what key you're using. Well, there's a new type of switch, which is magnetic. So the way that magnetic switches work is based on a newer technology called a Hall effect switch and sensor. So a Hall effect switch essentially uses a magnet to trigger a sensor. And the benefit to that is that it can be, you can almost program the switch itself, okay? because you can, through electrical current, you can manipulate how a magnet reacts. And so this allows you to have a much, not only a much more responsive typing experience, and for gamers, that's obviously a huge factor, but the number one most important factor in it is that there are no moving parts that activate it, okay? Because it is a magnet that activates a sensor, this means that you can now have thumbsticks that don't use moving mechanisms inside. So originally the way that joysticks worked is you had these little resistors on the side that could measure how far it went one way and how far it went the other way. And you'd have two of those, and based on the values that they read, it would tell you where is that joystick. But now that they're using magnets, there's no moving parts. One of the things that gamers have dealt with over the years is a thing called stick drift, where thumbsticks just eventually over time wear down enough where they just kind of lean one way or the other. With Hall Effect, you don't have that, because the only moving part is the actual, just like these brackets inside. You have less points of failure. And that's essentially the same thing with new magnetic switches. Since you don't have something that is pushing a leaf across some medium, it means that that leaf won't eventually wear down over time, possibly break. Or in my case, with some of my switches, they double tap, or, they don't register immediately. So that's the new keyboard that I'm getting. I'm getting a magnetic key switch keyboard. It's not that one. Yeah, here's the same diagram. Where's the one that I'm getting? Because like this is the main one. Like it has a knob and stuff, and I don't care for multimedia knobs. This one, yeah, that one right there. So, oh, here it is. Yeah. This one. So, super excited about it. I'm getting the black one. I'm gonna put my own keycaps on. I'm gonna swap them out. And see, this is what I was talking about. Where'd it go? Here it is. So like on here, you have a control over here, then you have Windows and Alt, and over here you have Alt and Function, and there's not another control button. My keyboard that I'm using right now does have a control button, which caught me off guard. But yeah, I'm super excited to get this thing, and it was only like $30, which is super cheap when it comes to keyboards. The only thing that I'm concerned about, I don't know if it has RGB. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think this actually says. It does have, oh yeah, it does have, yeah, it does. Cool, backlight. Yeah, I'm just very kind of concerned if it's, how much sturdy it is. I know it's an aluminum plate. I just want to know what it would be. Would it be able to be super quiet? It seems significantly cheaper. Yeah, it is. It is far cheaper. The keyboard that I'm using right now, oh God. It's an NK. So let me see here. I know you can't get my keyboard anymore. Where the hell is it? I want to say it's the entry edition. Regardless, I think the keyboard that I'm using was about $200. I know that the Drop Alt, which is the one that I have sitting off to the side, was about $100. So yeah, it's considerably cheaper. It is going to be quiet. I do prefer more quiet boards. The only thing, and this is actually kind of a big thing, it has an adjustable actuation point, which is really nice. But the thing is I'm going to have to rip all the springs out of my other board because I use very heavy springs because I like monkey fist my keyboard, and it just makes it very hard to type sometimes. Where if I rest my hands on some keyboards, I just like the weight of my hand makes them, press buttons just, accidentally. And I hate having to deal with that. All right, we're on 17. Yeah, okay, good. Almost done here. Nothing's changing. Arcana and medicine are going up. Oop. Bum, 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 bum. This goes up to 11, and this goes up to 10, and then we save. Nothing else we need to worry about. Let's give it another quick save, and then we are on to the last of the alchemist. 13 stat blocks we just added. Absolutely crazy. Now, I will say, I am probably going to do more of this in my own time, but I probably will be doing more streams where I'm just hanging out and chatting and, just doing this, letting anybody hop in and drum up conversation if they want. So we'll see what that's like in the future. What is the first thing to think about when, what? What is the first thing to think about when creating a faction? I'm guessing you're talking about the 2-page faction contest over in the GMP server. That would be my guess. So the first thing that I would think about is what purpose does the faction serve? Because that is the most important thing that you need to consider when thinking about adding a faction to D&D for whatever reason. You have to you have to be doing it for a purpose. There is something that you are obviously trying to supplement within your game that you want to increase the scope of and expand upon. So you have to give it the first thing you have to think of is, what purpose does the faction serve? For example, the one that I submitted for that contest, wherever the hell I put it. Here we are. So, we'll check that out in a second. So, the one that I submitted for that contest, the D&D defined a faction different. No, I mean, a faction, if you... okay, so there's, in the basic rules, there are 5 main factions, okay? You have the Harpers, you have the Order of the Gauntlet, you have the Emerald Enclave, the Lord's Alliance, and the Zentarum. Those are some, key factions. Each one of them serves a general purpose. The Harpers are basically spies in a way where they try and maintain balance within the realms to ensure that no one power gets too strong. So that's their whole shtick, is that they are doing good to kind of maintain balance. Hey, look at that. We finished up with the Alchemist. Awesome. So there we go. Now got our CR 20 Alchemist. Badass. Can't wait to do more of these. So, like I said, you have the Harpers, you got the Order of the Gauntlet, which is all about driving out evil, no matter what it is, going into places, weeding out wrongdoers and stuff like that. You have the Emerald Enclave, which is about maintaining the balance of the natural world, making sure that the wilderness is protected. You have the Lord's Alliance, which is essentially just a collective of all the world's leaders from cities and towns. And this is going to be anybody that's more associated with diplomacy, anybody that is, in, a notable figure within more civilized society. And then you have the Zentarum, which are, like it says, mercenaries, rogues, anybody that is trying to build their own power. This is kind of the more evil group. They try and build up their wealth. That's why, the little flying snake is eating the coin. So they're merchants, they're trying to build their wealth and their power, or they're trying to build their power through wealth. So when you are thinking about a faction to introduce into a campaign of some kind, you want to first think about, what is the purpose of this? Why are you planning on introducing it? If for example, you wanted to have a faction of, say, if you were going to be running a campaign where you wanted what's something we could play into? Okay, Forge Masters. Okay, let's say you have a campaign and one of your players is playing a Warforged Forge cleric, or like a Dwarven Forge cleric who is out there to, prove themselves to be this master blacksmith and, master crafter and stuff like that. And so if you want to introduce a faction that they can be a part of that helps them drive that character, progression, then you could have like, a faction called the Anvil Masters. And, what's the purpose of it? Well, the purpose of the Anvil Masters is a guild of artisans and, smiths and, miners that are able to share resources and information and blueprints with one another. So what would be something, like kind of the way that I set up the Delvers here, you could, the first things first, like, why do you want to introduce this? Okay, well, you want to introduce it because it's going to tie into your character's backstory. They, okay, so potions. Okay, you could have a faction known as the Pact of Potions, or the Alchemists, the Alchemist Association or something like that. And that faction's whole purpose would be to provide a network to alchemists and herbalists and potion makers and, scavengers and foragers, a network of resources and connections with one another. You could do work for them, kind of like how I set up for the Delvers, where maybe you're going out to find rare ingredients for them in order to make a certain potion, or you can go to them to find information on rare ingredients. They could also, they could also provide you with recipes, like you said. And then from there, you could start to build up, like, how do you want these represented? Is it going to be like there's greenhouses in your game where these, these alchemists are, or are they going to be like chemists, like actual chemists, like with laboratories and stuff, like, more scientific in their approach to it? And one of the things you have to consider beyond those first things of like, what is the purpose of this? Like, what purpose does it serve in your campaign world, is that you want to leverage it for or against the party. So maybe they, maybe these alchemists want the party's help to hunt down this monster that, has some kind of, some kind of thing that it like seeps off of it. And so that is something that they want. So they ask you to help with that. Or you are approached by this faction because there's another rival faction of alchemists or potion makers or whatnot that is attempting to steal some grand recipe of theirs. So, like I said, the first thing that you really need to consider is the purpose that the faction serves. And that was the first thing that I had to think about when I made the Delvers. But I made the Delvers for my own out of game purpose. Okay. And you could essentially do that with, a alchemist thing. And you know, what that could be is maybe one of your players found a really cool book of different potions that they want to experiment with. And there's some rare ingredients in it that aren't going to be found anywhere near where you are, like, you know, ice-based flowers or, you know, certain waters that only appear in deserts. So it's something that, like, if that's the thing that you're trying to get at, introducing a faction like that could give you the opportunity to, you know, put that in for the players. The Delvers I built because I wanted to give my players the opportunity, if there was ever something that they wanted that was a magic item, that maybe it wouldn't be accessible in the area that they are, I could then say, oh, well, you know, here's the Delvers, you know, go and talk to them. They catalog and track dungeons and magic items. They might be able to find it for you. You know, and here's one by William. This is the, you know, the Wizard's Conclave. He's another entrant into the GMP 2-page faction contest. So right here, Wizard's Conclave is the governing body of magic in Solaire, dedicated to regulating spellcasting, preserving the arcane balance across the world. Hidden deep within the heart of Alondra, their headquarters is concealed by an impenetrable illusory forest known as the Sanctum of Echoing Eternity. From this ancient seat of power, the Conclave enforces magical stability, preventing misuse and safeguard from a catastrophic world. Perfect. There you go. You know, these are people that guard magic. That's their core thing. They have, right here, tensions, opposition. So there's obviously another group that they are rivaled against. Then he has some leadership in it. And then down here, we have their core beliefs. They have some political tension and some adventuring hooks. And then here, this is some information about a rule that you could have. You could be a magic initiate. So you could introduce this as like a political factor for your players. This is going to be something where if your players are mages, or you want to introduce like this grand, you know, force of magic into your world, that could be something. So if you take that concept and you put it into something like potions, you could do something where it's, you know, alchemists, potion makers, and herbalists dedicating themselves to refining the art of alchemy, uncovering new formulas, and controlling the flow of rare and potent ingredients. So kind of like the same thing as... I closed it. What the fuck? Kind of like the same thing as the Wizard's Conclave, where they're regulating spellcasting. You could almost have a, you know, this potions faction regulating some of those more powerful rare ingredients, stuff that might be associated with high level monsters or like hard to reach materials. You could have it operate as a research and trade organization that gathers and refines and sells alchemical materials, with access to like exclusive recipes, high quality ingredients, or experimental, you know, ideas. And that could be something that players get really into. If you have a player who's super interested in potions and stuff, they could be trained as an apprentice, you know, and that could be something that they could play up and have interactions with NPCs in the game. And, you know, then you could have like kind of with the way that I did the Delvers, there's different, there's different levels of NPCs in that, in the faction. So like for mine, you have the Guildmaster and Chronicler. They assign contracts and they track everything. They're the ones that kind of, you know, are building up things for themselves to build upon. Here, hold on, let me switch something here. Delvers. Close that one. Make this big. There we go. Here we go. So yeah. So like I said, you could have you could have a Guildmaster style person, like you know, a grand alchemist or something like that. Then I have cartographers who sell maps and provide navigation tips. So if you pay for their services, maybe you get advantage on your survival checks to get there. So you could have something like that with alchemists. So maybe a like a particular alchemist who's able to get you new formulas, you know, and kind of figure out, you know, as you go down, like you're going to have somebody who oversees everything, somebody who has access to rare stuff, somebody who's just starting to gain access to materials, somebody who is just entering into this world. And then you have the people kind of like the field agents and scouts that are like outside of it, but they aid it. So these are going to be like your non-alchemists that specialize in, you know, collecting the stuff, or, you know, so these would be your herbalists that are out there, and they have like super high, you know, nature skills and survival skills. So they're able to spot rare stuff and harvest it perfectly. Or they're monster hunters. So they're out there, you know, killing wyverns and remorazes and bullets and, you know, all kinds of things. And they know how to harvest them. You know, and they're going to be people that you meet out in the field, and you could very quickly become one of those. After that, come up with some key individuals within it and some figures. You know, I introduced Helgrith Stonequill and Marissa Veil Whisper, as well as Dernic Irongaze and Bulgum Three Fingers Tharn. So getting elf blood, yeah. So essence of elf blood that breaks charms. So you could have like, you know, an elven alchemist who is obsessed with like, you know, making this thing, like making this one thing that they, you know, have only heard rumors of, and they've dedicated their life to it. You know, you could have, like, say, a half Aesir dwarf, or even a fire genasi that's, like, all about pyrotechnics and, like, pyro alchemy, where they develop stuff like alchemist fire and, like, more powerful regions of that. Because in that respect, you could have stuff where it's, like, you know, sure, you could have, like, simple potions, but then you could have, like, experts in poisons and venoms and antidotes, and have that be like a poison crafter. You could have a pyro alchemist focused on alchemy fire and like more volatile weapons. Then you could have stuff that's like more associated with animals and monsters and beasts and like farmers almost, you know, people that raise creatures in order to harvest bits and pieces from them. You know, and then from there come up with, you know, a few things that they offer, you know, ingredients, and, you know, come up with some prices for basic ingredients, you know, come up with some prices for potions that they have, some prices for, you know, recipes like I have up here right there. So we got, you know, for a general map dungeon, you know, or a detailed, or yeah, a general dungeon map or a detailed dungeon map, locations of items that you can pay for, and then also do stuff that you can work for them as well. But yeah, so like there's a lot of things that you can do with it. But again, when you're thinking about factions, the very first thing you need to think about is, you know, what is the purpose of it? in order to something like the Delvers, for example, just as a simple, my own example, the Delvers do not need a particular campaign style or campaign setting to work well in. You could introduce the Delvers really into any campaign, and the players could or could not gain some benefit out of it, but they kind of have a benefit to the general adventurer. Most adventurers are going to be keen on potentially scoring a map of a dungeon that they're going to, because it might show them where traps are or where hidden rooms are. They might have the idea of they want a certain weapon, or a magic item, so they can go and pay for a location for it. But in the opposite, you might have players that are like, well, hey, I like dungeoneering and I like cartography. I want to learn the cartography skill and I want to map out some dungeons. Okay, cool. You can make money doing that. You do have to have, cartographer tools, and you have to have proficiency in order to do this, but you can make some good money. So something like that can be put into any campaign. The Wizard's Conclave, magic is in most campaigns. So having the Wizard's Conclave could also work really well in any campaign that you want to, put it in. The thing with something like an Alchemist's Guild or a Potion Maker's Guild is you can definitely introduce that, and most adventurers are going to want access to some potions, but it's going deeper into it is going to kind of rely on a player wanting to invest into that alchemy. So definitely write it up. Come up, put it together, like what's a name? Like you should do something with Cauldron. Like the bubbling cauldron, or fuck, what's a good, like, could do a color. Could you do like the Crimson Cauldron or something like that, and have the symbol be, like a cauldron that was like bubbling red or green, like, like you always see it green. You could call it like the Emerald Cauldron, or I guess you got the Emerald Enclave. You do the Verdant. Verdant's always a fun word. That's kind of a play on like nature and growth and stuff like that, which kind of plays into the herbalism. So you could do like the Verdant Cauldron, and have like a green cauldron symbol, and it's like, that's the recognizing thing for them. But yeah, it's again, at the end of the day, you want to have a purpose for your faction. No, I have to list. No, please don't. You do not have to list me as a source. Like I said, just and you know what? Use when it comes to like stuff, go. Perfect example. Where's my link? Go to the thievesguild.cc. Go to generators. Shops. And I think here we go. Yeah. Like, here's some good prices. Okay. Here's some good prices that you can kind of mess with and play around. Like some things that, like, okay, like I would never really think about it, but like, yeah, having access to stuff like pitchers and jugs or flasks and tankards. And then you can, go into the NPC generator in it and come up with some NPCs for it. Have the leader be a female elf What do we got? We got an herbalist. Fuck is an ambulist? The fuck is that? We got a brewer that's probably gonna be kind of close. Oh, wait, really? We got a barrister, but we don't have alchemist. I guess artificer would probably be close. I always forget that there's prostitute. Where are we? Yeah, there's really nothing. I guess artificer would probably be it. All right, but there you go. You got Ithel Ippelsick, who is, who's the leader. She's like one of your guild masters. Have a halfling, Tango Loam. I don't like that name. Here we go. Bennett Mugpipe. Yeah, he's one of the ones who is who's like doing experiments, and then you got a little goblin artificer that's working the fields named Zotley, who's haunted by a ghost, and he worships Tyr. Holy shit. So yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, have fun with it. Build what makes sense to you, and you don't have to go super overboard. With the Delvers, it's an idea that I've sat on for quite a while. And it was just about getting pen to paper in a way, or keys to keyboard. But yeah, like, give them a purpose, give them a reason and a guiding force, something that the players can interact with and have some stake in the group. And then, the way that I did the rest of mine is kind of how is a dungeon master going to implement this? Like I said here, the Delvers is a great way to introduce dungeon crawls, magic items, and adventure-driven quests. Having them be, a small storefront or a hidden office, multi-story guild hall, or a deep subterranean archive. Put some different roles in it, some NPCs that they might find, and then do some quests. Figure out some quests that might be like hunting down a monster, or going and finding, a rare ingredient, or having to protect, somebody while they're doing an experiment and somebody wants to stop them, or going and finding a legendary recipe. And then, you can even do some other, actual NPCs. It's only supposed to be 2 pages. So I excluded my key figures from my official entry. This is more of my official entry. And then make some arts. Like this one. A map to some mountain-born keep from this town down here. See, and like Marissa Veil Whisper said, a poorly drawn map is a death sentence. A well-drawn one is the difference between vanishing into the dark or walking away with your life. And you can tell an amateur from their map. The best ones don't just show you where to go, but show you where not to step. So that's kind of what this map over here is demonstrating. This map is leading to somewhere, to something. What that something is, I don't know. But it's going from this town to this location. And clearly, they have checked other places along the way. In those places, it was not there. So they redrew their path line to follow the river to this town settlement here, up through this narrow mountain pass and up the mountains to a small village where they believe it is, and it is Delver approved. And then we got the symbol of the Delvers. Some climbing gear, some mining tools, and a fucking sick-ass hat. I'm also very like, I don't do a lot of Photoshop. Like, a lot of the things I do is like Mid-Journey. I edited this. I edited the words, and I was very happy with how that came out. Like, I don't do well with like layers and stuff, but I liked how that came out. But that's gonna be it for me tonight, folks. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out and keeping me busy while I you know, made my artificer, or not artificer, my alchemist. And yeah, join me again, possibly this week, when we pick up the adventure of Brutus Bjorn, my solo chat GPT D&D adventure, to see where it goes, because I'll just be doing it live. You know, I'll be reacting. You guys will kind of see me just going at it. Did not intend on giving you another 10. That's fine. It is what it is. Extended the stream to 3 hours. So thanks for joining me, everyone. Enjoy your night. I probably not, but might be streaming tomorrow. I know Dr. Pibbs and I have a chat tomorrow. Looking forward to that. So yeah, we'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody. Enjoy your night.